Hi all. I'm working on a piece of 28 by 40 cotton canvas, raw, which means it does not have sizing in it. I'm hosing it down with water to get it fully soaked. Previously, I had washed it in the washing machine on hot and dried it in the dryer, also on hot, to shrink it as much as possible. Now I'm just going to continue wetting it and getting it literally soaked. As you can see, I'm using a kind of a stiff garden hose, and it's a little bit hard to manipulate. I need one that's one of those softer ones. Anyway, now I'm using, and I have gloves on so I don't get any oils from my hand on the actual canvas, wetting it a little bit more, just making sure that it's fully soaked. Now I'm using three colors to start, which is usually how I like to start a painting. I'm using yellow, fuchsia, and aqua. And as I'm putting the paint on, I'm scrubbing this into the fibers as much as I can, because I literally want it to soak into this canvas. Now I tried this with golden high flow colors and with tube colors, but these are Hobby Lobby's Master's Touch, and they come in jars, and they have a fluid consistency to the paint, which I really like, and I don't have to add a lot of water to make it soak into the material of the canvas. Now I'm using a plastic bag just in the grocery store. You can use tissue paper also, but this scrubs it in, actually spreads the color. And even when I'm working on a prime canvas, I sometimes like to use the plastic bags to spread the paint. It gives it a little bit of texture and just a nice feeling using the bags. Another nice feature of these jars is that the 2-inch chip brush that I'm using fits very nicely into the jars. If I need to go with a bigger brush, I can just switch it out after I've got my paint on the canvas itself. And by the way, you can use natural cotton duck instead of canvas for the same procedure. And of course, if you turn this into a painting, when you try your own, you'd have to stretch it on bars. And notice these three colors I'm using in different sizes and shapes, and I've got them spaced away from each other because I think the composition is very important in whatever you're doing, whether it's realistic or abstract. Now I just picked up a jar of the orange, and I'm just putting that in, mixing it with some of the colors. It's not making a really great impact and everything. This is a shaper tool that I'm using, and it's not cutting in the way it would if I was working on prime canvas, so I'm going to switch to something else to give it a little texture. Now this is this is when the fun begins. I love to do this. I love to just sprinkle paint, and I'm doing it fairly gently, but it gives some nice effects, and they're very spontaneous. But because I'm trying to soak this in as much as I can, I'm spraying it with water and kind of flattening the color a little, and as it dries it will have a different shape. Now this was something different. I decided to use this spreader, hoping to make some marks on the canvas, and it was not something I planned. It was just an intuitive idea. But now I decided I'm going to add some paint to the very edge of the spreader, and I really like the effects that the paint is going on in the shape of lines. Now this is very, very wet, so I'm going to leave this to dry, probably overnight. I'm doing this outdoors. It's on our patio, and we have a roof over it, so I'll leave it there, and by morning it should be dry. So till the next video, see you later.